You're listening to the Kap and Haugh Show.
All right, welcome back. Kap and Haugh, 87.7 The Game. When you hear that music, you think Northwestern football. We always have Pat Fitzgerald on, and we get him in the studio here at the start of the year. How are you, Fitz?
With a tie,
Everything
too.
going all right?
Yeah, this is a game day uniform today.
Like it.
Would you like to coach in an outfit like that?
No. You know, the game that we play, weather is actually a factor. You know, that round ball thing.
Well, Landry used to coach in a suit and tie.
Mike Nolan.
Obviously, you're giving me two names right now. You know, there's always an outlier or two, but you know, they probably had like the best technology at that time.
Right.
I mean, Jim Phillips is in the end zone every game with a coat and tie on. He's got to have like layers on. I mean, he's got to be the most under-armored up guy underneath the suit that's ever happened.
And he has no overcoat ever.
He's just tougher than me. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
So
hey, I brought you a gift before we get going here. You guys need some stuff to put up on the wall, so how about a little Wildcat jersey here?
How about that?
Like that.
Nice, 51.
To Kap and Haugh,
Autographed
go
as well.
Cats. Pat Fitzgerald,
Yeah, you're
51. How about that?
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Now, what did you go with a silver Sharpie for that? What was the decision?
Went with the silver Sharpie. Probably should have gone over the black, but we could figure it out. It looks
That
good.
is awesome.
It looks good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it'll look better on you than it would on me right now. So.
You're a good man.
Hey, you've already had an eventful day. You come from Big Ten Media Day over at the Hilton, I believe.
Absolutely.
This morning, and you've already apologized to the state of Nebraska, I understand, and Nebraska fans. Can you go through that? Because I don't know if it got misconstrued. You were making an attempt at humor, and it sounded like your sense of humor.
Yeah.
But some people, obviously, in Nebraska took it the wrong way.
Well, that's to be expected with my bad humor, so I'm okay with that. But, yeah, it was a bad joke, and I was trying to make light of the fact that how well that the Nebraska fans travel and the experience that we had the last time they came to Evanston, and that our fans need to step up. And I said it must be born or something. Now they support them so well, making it a tongue-in-cheek comment. But obviously I've learned a lot of hashtags now that are tied to the University of Nebraska and had fun. And but if I offended anybody, I apologize. I don't think I did, but having some fun, it's that time of the year. On the way over, we heard you guys talking about some different banter that goes back and forth. The great thing is in a month, we go play football. And that's really what is all that matters.
Well, you're not opposed to engaging in your share of banter. I mean, you enjoy the gamesmanship a little bit.
It's a lot of fun. I'm a fan before I'm a coach, Dave. I mean, that's why not?
Absolutely. But you say things that are great for us, that are great for maybe the occasional bulletin board as well. You welcome that.
I don't hide from it. And there's an occasional time like what I did last week to 100 of our closest fans that trying to stoke the fire a little bit with them and motivate them goes the wrong way. But that's life, and so is it. But I think that's what's fun about college football, right? You only have one alma mater. Fan bases are just absolutely crazy about their teams. And, it's a lot of fun this time of the year.
When you look at everything that you had to go through since January and being fairly public, would you say that you have an unbelievably unified locker room, and that while it's hard to go through some of the stuff you had to deal with publicly, it might be a galvanizing factor?
I'm really proud of the maturity our guys demonstrated. To see the way that our guys were forced to look at each other in a team meeting, player only, multiple times, more than we maybe ever had in the offseason. I'm not in there, but when I talked to some of the guys, what happened? Guys stepped up and spoke and shared their experience or shared their thoughts that have never spoken before. And that has really brought the group together. So to see that type of maturity, I really believe brought us together at that stage. And then as we've moved forward, our guys realized exactly what our issues were. Then we could get to the issues that we had last year. So now we've got a group that's taken ownership of this team, has really done a great job saying, no, this is our team, or this is my team, like some of our guys have said, and this is where we're going to go. These are the standards that we're going to hold each other to and what we're going to live by. And that's kind of become the theme of our offseason is we're going to reestablish who we are and what we value. And you look back to the way that we coached and played and the way that our games went a year ago, very uncharacteristic of the way that we play. We let games get away from us late in the game. We made mistakes down the stretch that we very rarely make. And there are a lot of issues that went into that, and it's too boring to talk about on all those things. But the ones that we can coach and correct, we are. Big part of it's confidence in making plays in the moment. I mean, there were about 5 or 6 plays that there were guys there to make some things happen, and we probably didn't give them enough experience and practice to get there. We've gone through the spring. Now we'll do the same thing in the fall.
What has been if there's anything that has come out of this whole movement in the offseason, you've been talking about a lot of things that have nothing to do with Saturday afternoon, but a lot of things about player rights and things that Cain Coulter and Kappa brought to light.
Right.
One of the things I think that's emerged from this is that I didn't realize to the extent, and maybe it's through these comments or the public nature of this, Trevor Siemian has stepped forward and asserted himself in a way that I guess didn't expect. This guy is maybe more of a leader than maybe at first blush you get the idea that he is. Has that been something positive out of this whole sort of saga?
No question. The byproduct of our 2-quarterback system the last few years is we've had 2 quarterbacks, 2 different leadership styles, a good yin and a good yang, and anytime that dynamic changes, there's an opportunity there. And it's going to go one of 2 ways. Through what we've gone through, there's no doubt this is Trevor's team. He's really stepped up. I look at his numbers, statistically, which I'm obviously don't overanalyze, but he's thrown for over 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns. That's more than Kafka and Persa going into their senior years. Those 2 guys were pretty good for us, won a lot of football games. And ideally, we'd like to have one guy be the quarterback. That's your ideal situation. The last few years, it's been a little bit of a different situation. But I'm excited to watch him. I'm really proud of what he's done to this point. But now it's time to have guys coming after you that can hit you in about a month. At practice, they're not allowed to hit you. So I'm sure he'll step up and do what he's done in the past, and that's helped us be successful.
Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern football coach, in our studio here on 87.7 The Game, and you can catch us on Comcast, SportsNet as well. Kap Haugh Rewind runs after SportsNet Central at 11 tonight. There's a great article in USA Today about all these private quarterback coaches that are used. Ben Roethlisberger started it. Now there's all these kids, high school seniors to current college guys. Jimbo Fisher said, no, my guys will get coached by me and my staff.
Right.
I don't want that. Other coaches are like, if it helps, it helps. What's your take?
Well, I would agree with the last statement. We're going to try to do everything we can to help our guys develop. I would prefer that we do it in-house. I would prefer to do it as we're building relationships with our – I'm shocked that it's quarterback coaches, right? Wow. You didn't tell me right guard coaches,
Exactly.
So let's rewind now and let's get to high school. There is such a third-party influence in sports now. I'm not just talking football. I'm talking across the board. Grade school kids are now getting this coach, that coach. I would tell parents to relax. Let your kids grow, develop, play multiple sports. That's what I experienced. That's what my wife experienced growing up. That's what the Fitzgerald boys now are experiencing up in Northfield. We start football practice today for my 2 oldest guys. They're involved in everything. Why? You get one chance to experience all those things. We're seeing at our level, and it's been a decline in the ability to just be a football player. And what does that mean? That means going out in the backyard with your buddies, maybe your buddies' older brothers, and getting the you-know-what beat out of you and not being good enough and understanding how to deal with that, let alone just learning how to play 500 and catch the ball, all the different disciplines that go into playing multiple sports from an athletic standpoint, but also from a team dynamic standpoint, in my opinion, are being lost. Now let's fast forward to your question. I'm not sure if it's good or bad. If the young man and his family wanted to do that, I'd want to understand why. What are we missing? What are the things that you need? And I'm not a believer in doing things just to do it, just to check the box. And I went to a kicking guru or a quarterback guru. Like I said, there's no center or right guard guru in the country for a reason. But that's something that I definitely think if it were to come up, we would manage and work through. But I'd work directly with the young man and his family to figure out why.
It clutters the message. You don't know what the person is telling that quarterback in his ear about how many times he needs to be throwing on Saturdays and what offense is ideal for him. And maybe he knows a guy who knows a guy that says, you know what, you'd be better off here. Look, college football coaches are, can be control freaks.
Sure.
And you want to control as much as possible of their careers within reason.
Right.
But there's a fine line there. But when you introduce another member to the equation, another voice that is competing perhaps with yours as a head coach, I think you want to mute it.
Well, you would prefer to have it in-house, like I said, but this is going back. some of these guys may have a relationship with these kids in high school.
Yeah.
So they were actually coached by that other coach before you've got.
A lot of them do great stuff.
No question.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to paint a negative light, but like anything, you've got to understand what the realities are. And by doing one session or 3 hours or 3 days, I don't know. I don't know what the benefits are. And, you fast forward now to the NFL, and as I've talked to some of the coaches in particular, all these players are coming with their own personal trainers, all these personal this, personal that, and you've seen the offseason through the CBA. When I got the opportunity to go to the Cowboys, you got paid to go work out. because the strength coaches were great. Well, they've taken that off the table because all these guys have their own personal coaches. It makes no sense to bring everybody because they're all going to go do their own thing. Again, I think it's a microcosm of society, and sports are obviously a part of that. But that old school stuff works, playing multiple sports, being a part of multiple teams. But again, parents and players are always trying to find an edge, and I'm not sure there's an answer besides just working through it together.
It's Kap and Haugh.
It's 1-0 Cardinals. Here is Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, so let's root for the... If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 2-3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right, let's get some runs, Cubbies! Go Cats!
There you go. That was yesterday at the Confines.
I mean, I got it this morning with Mr. Cat. Mr. Cat pulled that out this morning, and now I get it today. This is ridiculous. You know what, though? I guess that's comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory.
But honestly, though, as a Chicagoan, to have that opportunity is really a neat thing.
I've done it.
How nerve-wracking is it, you guys?
I was terrified.
Yeah?
I've done it enough now where it's actually become fun. It's become kind of like the end of the summer time for football. But, I mean, I grew up listening to Harry Carey do White Sox games.
Right.
And then to watch him as I'm going in middle school and high school when he's doing the Cubs, that's a really neat tradition.
Hey, get the ultimate experience with the all-new Samsung Curve 4K Ultra HD TV at Apton Glenview. Samsung 4K Curved Ultra HD gives you the fastest internet, smart TV functions available. Come in to App today. See the complete selection of Samsung electronics. For complete satisfaction, free delivery, and a better experience, shop where we shop. Apt Electronics, app.com, the website. App, pleasing people since 1936. How much of it, when you go recruiting, is an arms race where you deal with a different cut of kid, but boy, it seems like, what shoe are you going to wear? How much am I going to be on TV? What's your weight room like? Are there TVs in the locker room? Do you get that?
Yeah, I mean, you, again, now, who are we recruiting? And don't forget, it's a 17-year-old boy,
right,
or a 17-year-old young man,
right?
And the boy is worried about the things that don't matter.
Correct.
And the young man says, all right, do you have the things that I need to have
Set
around
me
me
for my life
to be successful while I'm here to be prepared for life? And you're absolutely right, though. The little things make the biggest difference for young people. And we're about ready to embark on that, facility on the lakefront that's going to be not only a game changer for us, but for our entire athletic department, for our students. It's going to be terrific to have and we're taking maybe a little bit different approach than maybe some schools, and this is under Jim Phillips' great leadership and Morty Shapiro and our trustees. We're using it as an integration between our athletes and our students instead of the other way around, where a lot of campuses say, let's put the students over here. Let's put football in their own place, and you don't ever see them except for Saturday on, and so on and so forth, and put them in internet classes. And we're the other way around. We want to fully integrate our student athlete and student body population as one, and I believe it's going to even make us even that much more unique, let alone the setting of that facility as we get going here on it this fall.
Fitz, almost a year ago, first week in October, Ohio State's coming to town. National attention around that game. Northwestern, wins that game, and it's a lot different season. The wheels fall off for whatever reason.
Sure.
It was a difficult second half of the year. You follow that up in the off season where basically your program was on trial. I mean, you had to answer a lot of tough questions. You were literally under oath answering these tough questions at times. At the various points throughout the past 10 months or so, I imagine there have been times for introspection, time for self-evaluation. As you entered this season, you are very seasoned. You're young, but you're experienced at your job. How are you a better head coach now than you were last year? And what have the events of the last 10 months or so done to change you?
Well, football-wise, the way that we failed in dealing with adversity a year ago is my responsibility, and that's disappointing because we had been so good at that. And I don't think we overlooked it. We preached and taught and educated the same way. We just didn't do a good enough job collectively preparing for what we went through. And that's not to make excuses. It's to really paint a picture of where we need to go as we move forward. And we kind of started down that path as we started the offseason. And then we went through things that were out of our control. And I'm incredibly proud of the maturity that our guys demonstrated. And it just solidified to me who we recruit. I mean, these are unbelievable young men that are incredible leaders. That's why we recruit captains that have a big picture mindset to them. And they allowed us in another light to help educate them. Their families were great. And I believe we're as unified of a team as there is in the country. What I learned through that, though, is you need to recruit the right guys. And you need to surround yourself with the right staff and incredible leadership. And was it easy? No. And I'm very proud of what came out of what we went through. You're right. There were things that I got the privilege to talk about and sell under oth that no one else can sell under oath. Right. And it was a great opportunity to tell our story. And from the beginning,
a trying circumstance.
I never thought I'd go through it. I mean, I learned a lot about things that I'll hopefully never have to deal with again.
But once you were in it, you used it for a great opportunity.
Well, the first thing I learned through it is just be honest. And so that was all I had to do, is be honest and tell our story. And I think it's a pretty compelling story. And what I was probably secondary most proud of is to listen to the way that our guys described our program that are on this team, that are describing our team, and the way that they describe their experience on a daily basis as being the model. And from what they had heard, that this is what should be the model and people should take that. I take pride in that as a leader. But at the same time, it's a big educational piece to help your guys understand exactly what life is all about. And this was a life lesson experience for most of our guys. And if they were to go back and do it, I don't know. I haven't grilled them, but I think they've learned a lot about life. I think they've really come together. And hopefully what we've been through over the last 10 months is we're going to draw upon that when we do face the adversity that we will face. It's coming. I don't know when it's going to hit us first and what it will be to hit us first, but we're going to hit adversity like every football team does, like every person does in life, and hopefully this collection of 112 will deal with it better, and the coaching staff and the program, than we did a year ago.
Pat Fitzgerald in our studio for a couple more minutes. 309 area code says, Pat, would you let a kid play multiple sports at Northwestern if he was truly good enough to be a Big Ten player in 2 sports?
We do right now currently, and we have in the past. I would say this, there's only a handful of guys that are called Bo and Dion, that jump out to me.
Right.
How Frank
They're
Thomas,
outliers.
Frank Thomas, played 1 year at Auburn, and then turned his focus, to baseball. We've had some guys.
Sox fan in him talking.
Yeah, well, what a speech. I've read through the I'm not going to go there, but at any rate, it's hard enough to do one position and one sport incredibly well, let alone 2. Would we? Yes, we have, and we currently do. But I really think there's only so much time in the day, and the biggest challenge for young men in college is time management. And there's not a lot of time to do both.
The 847 says, hey, Pat, Nebraska grad living in Chicago listening. No hard feelings here, Pat.
Well, I'm sure he was there 2 years ago. You're the guy that I'm trying to keep out of our stadium. But
with a red shirt.
No, hey, that's what's cool about Big Ten football, though. It's fun.
So, okay, how do you handle this question when you're recruiting a young quarterback or a young student athlete, 16, 17 years old, and their parents are in the living room, and they want to know, they ask about Cain Coulter.
Sure.
What is your relationship like with Cain Coulter, and is he a good example or a bad example of what happens to players when they go through Northwestern's program?
Well, we've said all along, I think we're incredibly proud of recruiting guys that are willing to really take the forefront and be forward thinkers, be big picture thinkers, and be willing to step up and stand up for what they believe in. Whether or not I agree 100% one way or the other, to see that type of quite frankly, risk-taking and taking that leap of faith, I think is something that as a coach and as a parent you'd be incredibly proud of. And do we have a relationship? Absolutely. The last time I had a chance to speak with them is graduation. And, what a special day that is for Cain and his entire family. As guys matriculate out of your program, typically the challenge of staying in contact goes on the player. They seem to either go one of 2 ways. They go into this like paycheck to paycheck living where they have this great time in Lincoln Park, and I see them after wins and they're, it's great to see you, right? Or they go down the other road where they were married but not married in college, and then they end up all of a sudden becoming engaged and getting married and start a family. That's typically the roads that our guys go down post-graduation, and that will be the way that it is. And then where do they live? If they're here in Chicago, I see them a lot more, nationally. With social media, it's easy to stay in touch. But, it's a process that I think anytime you have things that happen within your football family, you work through them, good, bad, or indifferent. And I'm proud of the way all of our guys stepped up. And again, I'm really proud of the maturity our guys have shown.
Text line wants to know what happened to Darnell Autry. Where is he?
He's doing great. He's going to be here in town. He's going to be signing autographs tomorrow on the kind of the pre-pageantry of the kickoff luncheon. He's doing absolutely terrific. And you want to talk about a tough guy now. I mean, that was an old school tailback. I mean, he'd carry the ball 40 times a game.
Yep.
I don't think he practiced Tuesday and Wednesday at any point in our career. And to watch that he play the way he played on Saturdays was
Just because he was banged up?
He's a
yeah.
warrior.
Well, you think back to when there were 2 plays called ISO and power.
Yeah.
And then it was either right or left. So technically it was 4 plays that we ran. We didn't do a whole lot more. And it's 20 years how much the game's evolved. And you look at, think about, what was it, the second round was the first running back taken?
Yep.
The value or the devaluing in the National Football League of that tailback position to where 20 years ago, the guys that were coming out, they were the franchises of organizations.
What's the status of Enric Mark? How's his health, and what are expectations for him?
Yeah, his health, he's ready to go. He's been a part of workouts all summer long. He'll be ready to go on Monday. My expectations are, like for all of our seniors, to have fun and enjoy your last time that you have the opportunity to put on the purple and white.
He's a difference maker, Fitz. I mean, when you have him, you're a different team.
Well, thanks for keep that quiet.
Yeah, nobody knows that.
Nobody. It's unbelievable. Paul and I have been talking
but
about
you
it.
make him sound like he's just one of the guys, and maybe you want to build camaraderie, but he is different than the other guys in that backfield or on their offense.
Well, a year ago, we developed a lot of depth, which is positive, and we're going to need to rely upon that again. It's not like he's a 230-pound back. He's 185 pounds after he's gone to Chipotle all day and all that stuff. So as you look at what we're going to need, it's going to be more than just him. But he is a dynamic playmaker in our league. That ball goes up in the air from a punt and kick return standpoint. He's got a chance to take it the distance every time, especially getting him the ball in space. And what I enjoy most about his game is the passion that he carries the ball with, how that dynamite comes in maybe a smaller package with him. And his best play is the inside zone. I mean, he really runs that inside zone really well. Hard to see him from a linebacker perspective. And to get him back, you're right. He's a difference maker, and we're excited to get him back.
Hey, we appreciate you being here.
It's great to have the opportunity. Congrats on the new opportunity for you guys. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, we're excited. We're having a lot of fun.
You got to get a lot more purple and white in here, though. We'll get it going.
We'll take care of that. Absolutely. All the best. Have a great season.
Thanks, guys. Have a great remainder of the summer, and go Cats.
There he is, Pat Fitzgerald, head football coach of the Northwestern Wildcats.